right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. So let's start with a bit of audience participation. A show of hands. Who would run across a highway just because someone told them to? Here's a pro tip. The answer would be no, because you would be insane to. Now, a slightly different situation. Imagine the person that you care about the most. Really, imagine them. Can you see them in your head right now? Now, could I get another show of hands? Would you run across a highway? Would you run across a highway to save the person you care about the most? Raise of hands. So, why do I give you these ridiculous hypothetical situations? I tell you these because, as cheesy as it sounds, I want to show you the power of love. Raise your hand again if you would run across for somebody you care about. Now take a look around. Take a look around at the other people sitting around you. So many of us would be willing to do something insane, like running across a highway, because of love. I tell you this because that's what passion is. Love. Passion for an extracurricular, a talent, a hobby, a class, a career, anything. That's love. And chasing that passion, sometimes it's a bit like running across a highway. Scary, yes, terrifying even, but so worth it for something you love. For love, we humans are willing to sacrifice ourselves. We would do something absolutely insane, like running across a highway. We would push and break our limits. For love, we would be willing to give our all just for something greater. That's exactly what passion is, love. For passion, sacrifice yourself. Do something you'd otherwise consider insane. Break your limits, because when you do, you'll achieve something greater. When you chase your passion, success will follow. So, of course, that sounds great and all. It should be logical, right? That students pick their extracurriculars based on their passions, that we choose to spend our times on things we really care about. Unfortunately, for many of you who are students in this room today, you're probably going to go home and continue to participate in a lot of extracurriculars that you're only in because you or your parents thought it would look good on your college apps. Why? Because this is a principle that many of us are all too familiar with. Earn high grades, participate in the right extracurriculars, gain admission to a good college. Does this sound familiar? So, we live in a time where there's a huge stress on going to college, and especially the college we attend. Furthermore, most of us, if not all, live in the Bay Area, a place where that spotlight on colleges shines brighter than ever. Some of us are all too familiar with this, and may have even known the names of a few top-tier colleges in as early as kindergarten, before we even knew what college really meant or what it was for. All we knew was that it was a good thing, and so we wanted in. On one hand, it is a good thing. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, 33.4% of the U.S. adult population have a bachelor's degree or higher. That's 1/3 of the adults, compared to the 28% from 2006 and the 4.6% from 1940. This increase in educated adults means that more people are going into the world with skills equipped for them to contribute to our society as a whole. However, with this progress comes a new problem. With so much focus and stress on getting into a quote-unquote good college, so many of us are either giving up on our search for a passion, putting that passion aside, neglecting it, or suffocating that spark with activities that don't really hold meaning to us. I know student leaders of large clubs and organizations that feel trapped in what they're doing with no real drive to it, and it hurts so much to see. There are so many truly incredible and capable leaders that are fostered in high schools around the nation. However, they are so pressured to be perfect in academics, well-rounded with sports, and exhibit leadership through officer positions in which they don't feel at home. After all, this is the world we live in. According to the 2020 Princeton Review articles, UC Irvine's acceptance rate is 27%, UCLA 12%, Yale 6%, and Stanford a mere 4%. I'm sure these statistics don't shock many of you. We live in a society that holds these top universities up like a holy grail, and we push ourselves to be part of the small percentage that get in. We judge and value each other and ourselves based on our grades, SAT scores, ACT scores, and the universities we attend. As terrible as it was, I felt this firsthand. When I saw an increase in my SAT score, I felt as if my value as a human being had increased. Is that how we should be valuing ourselves? What happened to our personalities, our passions? What happened to the things we love, the things we care about? What happened to the things that really drive us enough to push us to run across that highway and risk ourselves? Looking into 2020, the innovative solution we need is not one of technology, as many will think when looking into the future. Rather, it's one that so many of us living in highly competitive areas, such as the Bay Area, face every single day. So many of us are caught in the push to get into a good college, so much that we forget ourselves and what truly inspires and drives us. These days, high schoolers and youth are brighter and more capable than ever, with access to a trove of resources and support that they can use to bring their own dreams to life. I'm sure many of us have heard of 16 to 17-year-olds who have made ridiculously huge impacts for their age. To throw a name out, Greta Thunberg, a 17-year-old Swedish climate activist. Isn't it incredible that there are students like that all around us? I have peers who have founded their own movements, peers who have trailblazed their own 600-employee startups, and peers who have designed their own clothing brands. It's incredible that these people who are barely old enough to leave the house without parental permission can already own their own startups, their own businesses. If this is what those who have found their passions can do, and some even without finding their passions, what would the world look like if each and every single one of us found and chased our passions? I know that to some of you, adults and students alike, that idea of finding your passion may sound like a fairy tale. Amazing, beautiful, but unrealistic. Some of us may have already given up on that idea, or are just waiting to stumble across it. However, if you haven't found your passion yet, today is the day to start. Start searching, exploring all that the world has to offer. Stay open-minded to volunteering, to attending local events, and to speaking up for anything that interests you. Don't be afraid to take a chance on new chances. Or don't be afraid to take a chance on new hobbies. After all, that's how it worked for me. As a freshman, I joined and actively juggled 10 different clubs and organizations, looking for my interests and for a place I could call home, as well as admittedly something that looks good on my college apps. One of these was something I never thought I would see myself joining, my high school's robotics club. By sophomore year, I had fallen in love with that robotics club, and that list of originally 10 had been narrowed down to 4 clubs, an academy, and an outside organization as I grew into leadership roles in the things I enjoyed. In junior year, I started my first year of presidency for Milpitas Extreme Robotics, a club that taught me what it really meant to be passionate about something, not for my college jobs, but for myself and what really mattered to me in life. This final year of high school, I realized I have many experiences I'm proud of, internships earned, awards gained, events run, and so much more. I have made incredible memories and friends, and I found a home and a family. Along the way, this was not driven by my want for a strong college app. Instead, it was driven from my love of technology, business, and changing the lives of those around me. Passion, a strong and barely controllable emotion, an intense desire or enthusiasm for something. I would like to leave you all with one thing today. Whether you are a student who's still looking for your direction, a student who's trying your best to impress that special college, or a parent who's hoping your child will be successful in life. If you really want passion, or if you really want success, find your passion. Then chase it. Pour your heart and soul into chasing that passion, and eventually, inevitably, success will follow. Thank you.